What is up, Elephant Money? Welcome to the show, Patrick. What's going on, buddy? We got Patrick from CryptoZoa in the house. Zach,
CryptoZoa.
CryptoZoa. My bad. Listen, this is my third or fourth drink. I'm sorry.
Zach, you're gonna have to take over.
Yes. By the way, let's just make the announcement now. Zach will be joining us every Monday night.
Hello, everyone.
The reason is because Goldwyn and AG Crypto. Oh man, I'm screwing everything up today.
That's why I'm here for. Go ahead.
We've had too many drinks the last couple of Monday nights, and so we need to keep someone on the show that can steer the ship when we get a little crazy. Does that make sense? Put it in the chat if so.
That's right. Let's get a 1 in the chat if that's clear. If that's crystal, if that's clear as mud, give me a 1 in the chat. But yeah, I'll be our designated host tonight with some green tea. What you guys sipping on today to relax this evening on this historical evening tonight? What's going on with y'all?
Listen, I got my Jack and Coke. Oh, like always, that's my go-to drink. Goldwyn, what you got this week?
Vodka and cranberry.
Vodka, cranberry. And then what we got, Patrick?
The Breakfast of Champions, the Michelob Ultra, only 2.6 carbs.
That's the way to go.
It's recommended for girlish figures. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely had to have a drink today because just with everything going on. I want to get to it, but before we do, I kind of want to hear your background and figure out how did you even get into crypto and how did you what sparked the interest to get into it, Patrick?
Well, my crypto journey started in 2016, and that's when I bought 40 ETH for $12.50 a piece. And then that was back in 2016. And then in 2017, I sold nearly 90, I sold it, nearly all of it. And I bought a lot of, she coins, altcoins. And then in the bear market of 2017, they all fell about 95%. And so that was my introduction. But, I thought I was a genius for buying ETH so low. And so I thought, well, shoot, just buy a lot of cheap tokens. And of course it'll, do the same thing, but 100x. But since then, I just knew that it was kind of it was the path. I just couldn't figure out the right project, I guess. And so I started getting into degen farms in 2017 and 18. And they're kind of, I guess, the precursor to the projects that we see, but where they would create an LP, spin up a token, pair it with something else, and then that's how it would get its value. Mm-hmm. But essentially the price would spike and then it would fall, and then you just had to figure out your strategy. And my strategy was I would wait until it dumped. It would do a dead cat bounce. And so I would time the bottom, and then I would sell anywhere between 15 seconds to 5 minutes afterwards. And that was profitable, but then they kept rugging. So I was like, I had 5 rug in a row, and I went,
oh geez,
this is not it. I had a winning formula, but I couldn't apply it to anything because they would just steal my money. Mm-hmm. And then I was in a Telegram for these degen forums, and one of them said, oh, there's this thing called, drip. And so that Stun Breezy was signing everybody up. And so I just started researching it. And that was kind of my entry into the DeFi world. And then from there, I found Elephant, of course.
At what point did you get into drip, Patrick?
When? I was in July 1st, 2021.
So at what time? You were pretty big run up, right?
Yeah, I bought it at $5.48.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I put in 1,000. Mm-hmm. And then within that month, it went up to $11. And then I put in the rest of what I had for investable income, which was $9,000. And then I rode that all the way up to $169. all the way to the top. And then, of course, we know what happened after that, all the way to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I also was, because of my writing in CryptoZoa.com, my Medium publication, as far as I can tell, I had the largest group in Drip. And so I benefited off of their like kind of multi-level marketing sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the price fell, and thank God I got into Elephant.
Yeah, that's really an interesting kind of story how you got to this point in DeFi. You mentioned 5 rugs in a row. That's incredible. How many would you say roughly do you think out of the out of rugs that happened to you? Like what number of projects did that occur? Would you say like 20 different projects, 100? Like how many did you think you may have got involved with where after a short period of time it just was apparent either from the community or just from malicious activity from the developer that the project just died or maliciously rugged?
Yeah, I mean, I was going really heavily into, whenever there was a new project, I would get into it. And so I must have been in over 150 projects.
Oh, wow.
And the third would rug in my
150. How do you keep up with that?
A lot of Google Sheets. And like I said, it's I knew with such a risky segment of crypto that you have to have really good money management. And so I would only throw in like 500 or 1,000 depending on each project. And I was profitable enough to keep it running, but I just knew it was just way too much work and too much research, and then they would rug. So it was just a bad way of making money.
I think Patrick's going to have the cake for a while on Rugs2Riches. I'm not sure.
For sure.
A third of 150. That's 50 rugs. Woof. I mean, that's Hall of Fame status right there, man. That's a real DeFi pioneer, someone who's putting their hat, in the middle in multiple different, battles. So that's really cool. I am sorry for your loss, but once again, it's kind of interesting to meet someone who's been that, resilient as well.
To me, it's just paying for my education. So I self-rugged with ETH. And, I went through all these like degen farms, but, the second largest rug actually was this project called Titan. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Mark Cuban was touting it at the time.
Tell the viewers here a little bit of background, because you mentioned Mark Cuban's kind of promotion or mention of it.
He's a billionaire, and he threw.
That's the one that BT put all of his money in that dropped.
Titan Farm or Titan.
Yeah, he said he put $1 million of all of his gains into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on paper it looked really great, and on paper I had something like 47,000 at its height. Like I put in like 5 or 10,000, I can't remember. But when it fell very, very hard. So it takes me 3.5 hours to drive from Denver to the place where I live, and in that time it dropped 95% in price. And so I live in a yurt or a gur. And,
really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's kind of like north of the sand dunes. But once I got to my yurt, I opened up my laptop. I saw the price. I sold everything, and then I closed my laptop. Oh, forget this! Oh my god. But then I also got caught up in CO, TPS, and Swapnex, and that was for a similar amount. So I've gone about 47,000 again. But at least at that time I had enough capital build up so that 5,000 was relatively a small amount for me. But on paper it was 47,000. So it was pretty hard to go through that. But the thing is the hardest part is that I helped other people get into those. And one of them was a guy who put in 2,000-3,000, and only a week later I had to tell him, sorry, the money you put in is all gone. That's the worst feeling.
It is. That's the one thing that I fear about promoting Elephant. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm always in the back of my head, what if the price drops? And sure enough, I'm getting phone calls and text messages. Hey, actually, yesterday, my buddy Fred, shout out to Fred. He's like, hey man, when's this elephant going to start moving up? Because I'm wondering why I'm still down. And you kept telling me it was going, it's going to go up when I got him in, and he hasn't said anything today. He's having a baby, so hopefully he doesn't look at the charts for at least a week. We'll be back up. Otherwise, he'll be texting me again. But
yeah, I mean,
that's my biggest fear, man. It's just letting people down, hyping it up, and then a rug.
Well, I mean, at this point, I tell people when I introduce them to this that this is the bleeding edge of the cutting edge of crypto, and everything is experimental. But when I look at elephant money and go into the tokenomics, there's a reason why 99% of my capital is just in it. It is the sustainability, the advanced tokenomics, the multiple wealth generating smart contracts. It's so amazing. I have trouble conceiving how Bank Taylor thought of it all, frankly. It's just beautiful, and it deserves all the praise that it gets. And the thing is that when you're explaining it to newbies, you can't take them back, back to 2021 and go, and then bring them to the present.
Yeah.
With all the knowledge that you have. It's like, how far back do I go to have them understand? But what I tell people is that research will reduce anxiety. And you can't just rely on me. If you really want to reduce your investing anxiety, you have to do the research.
I love that. It's so true, right? A very popular message that is pushed in crypto amongst people who really want people to understand at a deeper level what they're getting involved with is that do your own research. And I know, like you're saying, Patrick, I learned this from you, Patrick. One time you had an article about like crypto Sherpa. I don't know if it was an article or something like that. And I thought that was such a fitting description and an apt one, is that's what a lot of people need, because I think all of us had some sort of crypto Sherpa, some sort of crypto big brother, someone to get your feet wet, show you how to set up a hot wallet, show you how to do XYZ. But it's just starting the fire. And, like you said, it's you're being a resource for them on their crypto journey. So I that's such a good message to take home. And like you said, I'm just a supplement. I'm here to answer questions and provide my years of experience and my, hundreds of projects of involvement and all the research that's gone into that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is your capital. You get to buy more when you want to. You get to sell more when you want to. And, it's showing them just like you said, each one teach one, and putting the power in their hands. And oftentimes, like AG was mentioning, if people get, with price sensitivity, everyone wants to make money, not lose money. And that power, like you're mentioning, on the bleeding edge of finance, that's such a powerful spot to be in both the good and bad times. And so the more people have that education, do your own research, the more confidence and clarity comes with it. So that's all we can do to help them on their journey, and stuff like this stream. That's what we do to help the message. But ultimately, that's AG I would recommend to Fred or anyone you get involved or show. It's always a start so small, let them get their feet wet, and then according to their proper financial situation, invest. Because that's something, and I'll get back to floor in a moment, but as Patrick mentioned, 5,000 people hear, oh, you put 5,000 in this project? Dude, I'm going to put 5,000. It's like, well, 5,000 to me is a lot different than it is. I'm just to be blunt to what your financial situation is. Right. Yeah. I might have 5,000 in 10 different projects right now. Whereas, right. And so it's oftentimes, you have to depend on the maturity of the financial maturity of the individual you're working with, like, to share numbers or, to work with them, sit in their shoes and help on there, because people just following and jumping in and getting over invested ultimately just leads to people's being emotional and getting wrecked. And that's what we don't want to happen. We want gains and the herd to win. So sorry, that's just a lot there, but do your own research is such a powerful message.
Zach, how many projects are you in right now?
Not many. Actively, like with a large, like, I would say over $1,000. Like I would say less than 10. So when it comes to, I'm also, I would say, 70%, 80% into Elephant Money's ecosystem and products. But I typically will keep, I like to explore other areas, but the Elephant Money is my and ours decentralized bank, right? So that's typically where that's my home base now. Everything jumps off of there. So I know I want to get into this too. I know Patrick has some pretty cool takes and kind of portfolio management strategy that I'd love to hear about, how he approaches his Elephant Money positions. So that's kind of my perspective when it comes to like getting risk management and but yeah, like I said, I've been in I've probably maybe in total 150 projects, not in a short
Hey,
period
that's a
of
lot.
time. Yeah,
You
but
guys are crazy. Got all the big money.
no, I
Well,
mean, you
Well,
move, you learn, you grow. A lot of times, during the last bull run, I'm sure this next bull run, there's a lot of narratives that
Yeah.
spin up and spin down. So
I tried to stay away from all the smaller projects. Elephant was my first DeFi project that I got into. And then I ventured out and got wrecked.
I did a lot with ICOs. So that's where whenever I came in 2018, ICOs were really big. So I literally every ICO I could get into, I was throwing in, $200, $300, $500. And then I had my spreadsheet at one point in time, probably had 50 projects on it. And then you just kind of lose track of stuff, when Aave changed names. I forgot what it was before, but I bought the ICO of Aave.
the Lind token.
What was it?
Lind, L-E-N-D.
Oh yeah, Lind.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of Lind, and then I sold it right before I went to Aave, and then I kicked myself.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, man. That I know. Chuck, I used to remember seeing threads and stuff about Lind before Aave, and same thing. I was like, what is this? And then they migrated it, and now look, they're a multi-billion.
And then it just went through the roof when we went to Aave.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the progression that a lot of people go through, especially if you've been in this for years. Is that you think diversification leads to safety? Because if some fail, you still have a core few that is profitable, and that works for a while. But then it sounds like a lot of us have gone down the same path where all of a sudden we've just, focused down to something like Elephant Money. And for me, I look at it like any of the richest people in the world, they put all their bets into one business. So Bill Gates with Microsoft, you have
Elon Buffett with Coca-Cola.
yeah, exactly. And so when I look at Elephant Money, I know that it's something special. I mean, it was one of those things where I had to go to ETH Denver and meet him, and shake his hand.
Tell us about that. You got to meet Bank Teller in person. And
yeah, it was. I don't know how I ran across it, but all of a sudden ETH Denver came up, and I just went, "Oh, I wonder if he's going to this." So I texted him. I said, "Are you going to be at this?" And so he said, "Yeah." And so I just got into my truck and I drove to Denver.
Nice.
And
3.5 hours away.
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
Did you get a hotel room, or did you pack up your yurt and take it with you?
I think I stayed with my brother. He's in the area. And so we had lunch. I talked to him. We discussed crypto and his tokenomics. And there was just there's a line where he said, I can't remember his exact words, but he said something like, along the lines of, "I was born and bred for this. This is my last stand. All my abilities and my knowledge is going to go into this." It was something along those lines. And I was like going, well, that's the kind of commitment that I need to back this. And so that's when I started writing. And I was writing at one point, like every other day or even every day. And most of the time I was writing to understand it. And the more I understood, the more I got excited about it. And my background is in SEO, but my ability is in, I guess, condensing information, making it palatable, go into the hows of thinking about something. Because when you're confronted with something, especially as complex as Elephant Money, you kind of need a Sherpa to explain it to people. And it's a conceptual problem. Like, what's the difference between, like, say, you know, a wallet and an exchange, and then a centralized exchange versus a decentralized exchange? And most people go, "Can I buy it on Coinbase?" Like,
Yeah.
sorry, I have to take you through the different steps to get
That's so
to
true.
finally
No.
be able to invest in it.
Yeah.
But you know, what I used to do is, you know, I would set up a MetaMask wallet for them, and I would just send Elephant. But now I don't do that. Now you have to have an entry. You have to have either crypto.com or Coinbase.
Yes. Yeah.
You have to be responsible. It's your money.
Mhm.
So only if they're willing to go through the learning curve on that, am I willing to, like, take them the rest of the way.
Mhm. That's kind of my similar approach when individuals I help as well kind of onboard is I always mention, like you're saying, have it for all tax purposes in and out for both also your you know, any traditional banking you're having onboarding of funds. This is the best and easiest way. And as we're talking about, you know, decentralized finance, it's a whole new world, and we're gonna go slowly through it. We're gonna talk about some funny words and stuff, but as you learn these topics, you'll be able to put together the industry that is what is cryptocurrency and what is decentralized finance, and what are these you know, what's the big picture of all of this. So that's what I find a lot of joy you know, spreading that education, because it's something that isn't, you know, taught in schools, or right, it's really, like you said, people like yourself, writers online, amazing cryptocurrency and financial educators, and a span of things from both the hardware to the financial side to the humanitarian to the philosophical. Like, it's just really cool to meet all these people from different angles. When it comes to your writing, you mentioned CryptoZoa. How did you get involved? And can you tell us more about CryptoZoa and what you guys do as a group of writers?
Yeah. Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Damn
so
it, Goldwyn.
so I started CryptoZoa essentially for me to figure out crypto. And so I wrote a lot about, like, degen stuff. And funny enough, when I wrote about, you know, the downfall of Titan, that got me the most of my audience. And then I started focusing down on, like, DeFi projects. But then there's a certain point when like, say, when I got into Drip and Furio, that I was looking around at the influencers out there, or the people with the biggest audiences, and I saw that they're mostly on YouTube. But from my SEO experience, I knew that textual content, I could wipe the floor with all of them. And because that's the easiest way for Google to understand what a piece of content is about.
Mm.
There's a separate search engine for YouTube. But if you can be on the first page on the Google search, it's a much bigger search engine. So how do you do that? Well, you demonstrate expertise. And how do you demonstrate expertise? Well, one way is through a bunch of articles. And so I was writing for myself, and then I started writing for other people, and I put their IDs on it so they could grow their downline. And then later on, when that fell, I was looking for a project that I could really get behind, something really that didn't have a downline element to it, that through the sheer tokenomics, it could be successful. It's not reliant on, say, other people being convinced. So I just went full into Elephant Money because I felt like, okay, finally, this is the thing. Everything else is going to fail. It has the hyper compounding element to it. It's just there's just no path to where it's sustainable. Mm-hmm. So once I recognized that in Elephant Money, I went, okay, this is it. I'm going to approach it like it's my business, and take ownership of it. Like write articles as if I'm the owner, even though I'm not. I'm benefiting off of the developer. But what I'd like to tell people is, you know, I'm kind of well, sometimes I'm the FOMO arm. Sometimes I'm the how-to arm. I'm able to say things that, say, Bank Teller can't, such as opinions on the chart and price action. Mm-hmm. Like a CEO or someone in that position should not ever say anything about that. Like this is a guaranteed way for you to make money or whatever. But I can express my personal belief in what I think the future holds for elephant money, and that's just my opinion, and that's fine to do. And but you know, the thrust of what I write about is how to think of certain things, how to strategize about it, what's the best way to optimize. You know, the name of the game, if you're playing the game, is to make money, and that's not just a fun and game sort of thing. It's serious with serious implications. And if you lose it through like scammers or something like that, you know, there are people who commit suicide over that. So, you know, this is a game you play to win. You don't play it to lose. But you need the right vehicle. And so all the mistakes, the rugs that I went through, hopefully it's getting fewer and fewer the farther I go down the line.
Yeah.
So finally it's like all of a sudden it's like narrowed down. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, elephant, that's the thing. Yeah, so that's kind of what I guess.
So I read one of your articles today, and it inspired me to about the whole transition from Stampede into Trumpet. And I don't know if you guys want to segue into that.
Let's jump in,
But listen, complete honesty, I was pissed.
Really?
I was absolutely pissed when I opened up the chat and it said, hey, I'm going to bump the APRs up to 0.5 after I've already rolled my Stampede to lock in my gains. Oh, dude, I was so livid. I was so hot. And I'm like, damn it, this is ridiculous. Why would he do that? And then I went and I listened to your Medium article of Stampede and Trumpet and all that, and why it's going to be a good thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go. This is the way to go. Just do it. You know, just move it on over. Don't let it sit in Stampede anyways. And of course, I don't know what changed his mind, or maybe he's just talking out loud. But now it's going good, at least for me. I don't. But I'll tell you what, man. I was like gripping that steering wheel when I read that. I was like,
yeah, I mean, my first thought was, you have got to be kidding me. After all this, you're going to say that? No.
Yeah.
I think, you know, one thing that we can all appreciate with BT is his openness to talk to all of us, you know, because like people say, you know, you don't get to talk to Elon, you don't get to talk to any of those other big wigs. You don't, you know, and I don't know that people grasp, you know, how much access we have to somebody that doesn't need to give us access, right? Like he just needs to put the information out. But I also think that, you know, he talks without necessarily thinking first. His mind is going so fast that his fingers type, and then he, you know, goes back and is like, oof, maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Well, I mean, even if we even just disregard that, I mean, it's really kind of a minor thing that kind of blew over, and, you know, he said, yeah, we're not doing that. But just the stuff that he did do. I mean, the sunsetting of BSD, you know, the migrating Stampede balances to liquid trunk, ending the queue, like doing all those major changes within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you just realize like the massive effort that must have involved, the massive amount of knowledge that you would have to undertake that within that short of a time span, knowing that you would be faced with negative sentiment, and being able to withstand that while still doing the work.
Yeah, 100%.
Like when there was the first exploit, I used to go into, there's some other Telegram. It was like a hostile one. I can't remember. It might have been drip based or something like that. But he faced off against the worst insults and dealt with it professionally. And that was the first time I had heard him like speak live. and I only heard the negative stuff about him. But seeing how he like comported himself within the Telegram, like super, super negative, super insulting, calling him every worst thing in the book, calling him a thief, etc. And the way he responded to that, I just went, wait a second, maybe what's been said about him is untrue.
Was that during the exploit? Right after the exploit?
Yeah, right after the exploit.
I know what you're talking about. I was in the same boat. I was listening to everything he was saying. He got trashed.
He was,
by him and Forex were going at it.
I mean,
once or twice, and
yeah, if you listen to all the Drip Maxes, you would think that he was, you know, the evil incarnate.
yeah,
That you would never put money with him.
mm-hmm.
But
I actually fell in love with BT after hearing all that, because I was like, man, that's exactly what the moment that when he started defending himself and coming out and saying, hey, this is not me, this is, you know, an exploit, the contract's all right. The more he spoke, the more it came to me. I was like, okay, he's not doing this to get rich. He's doing it to leave a legacy and be known. So I'm like, I want to follow him, because he's doing it for more than just money. He's building this decentralized bank to help everyone else. And I think it's more of a pride factor for him, which I appreciate, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, he doesn't want to see it fail, so he's going to try whatever he can do to keep it going, because, you know,
yeah, that's
his baby.
That's like Discord. The last few days, you know, I've been in there, and you know, I don't try to argue with people, but you know, I just try to say facts and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And you know, that's what they say. You know, oh, he's a thief. Oh, he's doing this. I'm like, why? Like, if he was really trying to steal the money, he would have just let it die on the exploit. Like, why did he go through this 18 months or 20 months now of hardship? Mm-hmm. You know, to kill it now? What, are y'all crazy? Like,
yeah, no, he doesn't want to tarnish his name.
Yeah, I think that's something y'all are pointing to, is that his vision. He's always had, you know, the individual with the vision to start Elephant Money and to see what the promise of blockchain and DeFi could be when managed appropriately. And that vision has led us through the thick and thin, and it's remained clear. You know, the mission, cash flow for all, and really bringing about, you know, financial opportunity to, you know, anyone around the world. Through blockchain technology. So that's something that I've always admired, is that strong vision and his ability to, you know, with, you know, that there's some saying like that, you know, but with any if you have a why, you can embrace any how, or, you know, that kind of thing. So that's something I admired in his leadership. He's always kept the course. And as you guys are mentioning, there's so many devs out there who have such a short-term mindset, and they just see it as a job or as a, you know, a paycheck. They got to get their, you know, do their thing. Whereas you have someone who has the passion and the legacy factor we're speaking of. I mean, the work and craftsmanship, you know, you can't buy it. You can't pay it. It's just true identity. You know, it's who he is. So yeah, big shout out to BT, and congratulations to the herd. I'll cheers to you, gentlemen. Cheers to the herd for this successful migration. I mean, like Patrick was mentioning, just some of those few changes in the last short few weeks. These are just major, you know, improvements and kind of, you know, reconfigurations. But this is something that, as many of us have been involved in other projects, right? Updates are delayed or promised, or roadmaps are drawn out with Q1, Q2, and right. And here we have a one man with one vision and being able to knock it out. So cheers to the herd. Cheers to a successful migration.
Cheers.
And do it again. Let's do a couple more cheers.
Let's do a couple, man. Let's do a couple.
I think you're cheered ahead of us. So
I think my face is all red and everything. I might have to go get another drink.
It's that blood pressure. You're still a little bit upset. You gotta.
Dude, I was a little upset. I was like, SK told me last night to do this. And then I go in the chat and he says the same thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going. Oh, dude. Oh, man.
Well, I mean,
you could have seen me.
We could talk too, because, you know, the last couple of weeks, AG, you kind of told us your plan for the future. and that's been blown up because
Yeah,
you were huge.
Speaking of that, oh, dude. So I was big on farms. This is my strategy. I'm going to work off farms, and then BT comes out with this statement that he's going to sunset Stampede, and I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of figured that there's no point of having Stampede and futures. It does the same thing, 2 different coins. I get it, but then he says, I think we're going to keep farms. There's an argument to get rid of it, but I want to keep farms. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know what the hell happened because now farms is gone.
This man's been on a roller coaster ride. AG's been through it.
I need a drink.
He's getting him up and down. He's like, this is my new strategy. Okay, this is my new strategy. Oh, wait, hold on. This is my new strategy.
I got to rework everything. Yeah. But needless to say, I just pushed all my trunk into Trumpet. And then my blue chips, which was USDT is what I was using in farms. I moved that into BNB, and I'm just sitting on BNB. I was hoping to buy some trunk when it dropped down to like, I don't know, 5 cents, 4 cents.
Oh, wow.
But that's not going to happen, I don't think.
Yeah.
It seems like it's leveled off. I think we'll go back down to maybe 8 cents.
Yeah, that's where I bought in is 8.3. Like I had some set aside.
Were you waiting for it? Like watching?
Yeah. But I was looking at the chart, and then I saw it, and I was going, well, I could either do this the slow way, like put in a little bit and then put in a little bit more later. But, for me, I was just going, well, this might be the bottom. So I just put in my available capital that I could put into it.
Yeah, 8.3. I'm looking at the chart now. 8.3 was pretty close.
We'll see. We'll see in the coming days. I mean, there's still a lot of Stampede that needs to be transferred over. So.
Yeah.
I bought a 2 BNB worth of trunk at like 10 cents when on the way back up. I was like, well, I'll just get it now just in case.
Yeah. So we should talk about like the different changes and the reasons for them.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Where should we start? To fuck AG crypto out of his strategy. That's the reason why.
I mean,
I can see it now. BT was watching 2 weeks ago when you and Crypto Mason were like, "Oh, this is so awesome! We got it now."
Oh no!
And he's all like, "And kill."
I mean, I have to admit, it took me a while to wrap my head around it. It took me all the way up to the point where I finally published my piece. But I definitely had certain reactions go back and forth until I finally figured out what the hell was happening. I mean, in the macro view, for BUSD, I mean, Binance had already said that they would end support. So earlier than expected, it was supposed to be in February. And so we really didn't have a choice. We had to make the hard choices now, especially before the anticipated bull run. Because all of a sudden, BlackRock, some people are saying that might come through in as early as January. So the time to strike is now. And then, there is some people who don't like the idea of BNB, but I think people confuse BNB with Binance and all their legalities. But BNB is a token that is widely available through decentralized exchanges. It's governed by an independent council whose salaries are paid by bank teller. And because of the mechanisms, it cannot simply be erased from DEXs. It's out of human hands, and the machine controls it now. So I, for one, whenever someone brings that up, I go, well, don't worry. It's fine. Like a lot of times I found you don't have to go into in-depth explanations because they wouldn't understand anyway. They're just looking for reassurance. And so they're trying to borrow your knowledge. And so I just go, yeah, well, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Stay invested. Come back in August. Just don't look at the charts. Come back in August or December, whatever.
It's like the bell-like curve meme where you have the low IQ guy and then the high IQ guy and the middle IQ. The low IQ and high IQ, they're just like, it's fine. Everything's okay. It's all good. and the middle guys, let me look at this, right? If you want the short answer and just the truth, then it's good. It's that's kind of thing. And I know what you mean. Always meeting people where they're at, and like you said, not saying less than is necessary is always an easy way to help people get to the right path. But go ahead, you were saying with the kind of separation of Binance the coin, the BNB the token, and the network versus Binance the exchange, two separate entities. And you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of liquidity out there, and even if Binance goes away, the coin still exists.
Exactly. Yep.
And there's a reason why liquidity exists in decentralized exchanges, because they can run it without human intervention. So there had to be a switch immediately for BUSD, and the best token to me is like BNB because of the liquidity. It's the largest exchange round who created it. There's restrictions that we see in the US, but the rest of the world uses it. So for me, it wasn't even a concern. And then when you go into the other, several projects that are rolled in one in this release, I mean, there's the migrating the Stampede balances and the Q. This is all related to, the stablecoin and the legislation and the pressure that's being brought to bear. So like a road, it's like, BUSD is the canary in the what is it? The cave mine? No.
Gold mine. Yeah.
Gold mine.
It was, yeah.
That Stampede after the trunk depegging was not contributing to the elephant ecosystem. The economic, so all economic effort was focused on the repegging, or basically on liabilities. So the
Chris, you like repegging, right?
Yeah, that's a different kind of repegging.
Is that like a reverse reach around? What would repeg?
I don't know. I don't know.
You have to be unpegged to then be repegged.
That's right.
Happens twice.
Yeah, gosh. I feel like it's happened more than once being in the last anyway, in the last couple of years.
We're gonna have to limit the vibrations that AG's on.
I didn't know it was that type of YouTube.
If you like pegging, leave a comment.
Give us a 2 in the put
a 2.
Yeah, put a 2
I'm for repegging.
Yeah. Repegging. Okay.
I've been waiting for a repegging for a while now. Now peg is gone. No one's getting pegged anymore. We're all going past the peg to $100 up and more. But sorry to interrupt. As we were saying, with Trunk's kind of new format and Stampede being a sunset with inflation of the Trunk token being sunset.
Yeah, that's like we have to think back on the original design of Stampede, right? So it's for a stablecoin pair, but that ended with the exploit. It would only work if we got back up to it. So for me, it then became a game of, for me personally, compounding and claiming to trump it. So now we have the full amount into trumpet, which to me is huge. I don't have to wait, 2 years or whatever it would take to just claim out, or 200 days, I guess, if I did it that way. And now we're into trumpet and trunk. And Trunk can act as an ambassador outside the walled garden of DeFi and into the greater world of CeFi. So centralized exchanges. I mean, centralized exchanges aren't the villains here. It led to, Bitcoin price rising from 35,000 to 42,000 in a month. So a 20% gain. So when I look at Trunk, to me, $9 a trunk is cheap. That's just a start.
So when you say $9 trunk, I mean, you think 6 months from now?
I think that's well within the possibility of it. You look at how much trunk there is, and compared,
I'm feeling pretty good right now.
I'm gonna have to go buy some. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
You look at the amount of tokens that are in Elephant, and you see how the buyback strategy is working for Elephant. Well, in my mind, Bank Teller is rerunning the program, but he's doing it with Trunk, but he's combining that with the burn mechanism, through the minting of Trumpet. And so you have those two combined forces driving the demand, the supply shock. And so once the price starts rising, all of a sudden you'll have a demand shock meeting it. So a demand shock meeting a supply shock, like an extreme supply shock.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's bound to go up and bound to go up faster than
Then
the token.
elephant.
And
Yeah,
Wow.
I think in the short term, it just like we talked about before, just depends on what I think in the next week, I would say, when the dust settles and people have migrated and we see what kind of the herd's stance is in the next week. But like Patrick's mentioning, I think as well in the short term, I think it might quickly outrun even elephant, in price appreciation. But
So
it's
12
definitely
months from
something.
now.
It's definitely something that if you don't have a bag of trunk yet, if you've never been involved in Stampede or Trumpet, right now at these big event days, something like today or the next week or so, right? This is something I would start listening to this, watch some SK videos, read some more of Patrick's different articles on both trunk and trumpet and the migration as well. But this is. Yeah, it's kind of gives me kind of goosebumps because you mentioned it's the reprogrammed of elephant success into Trunk's body now. I haven't thought of it that way, but that's like a very apt description. He's gonna
Yeah.
and he's taking that one step further with the burn, which is even a stronger effect than even just a fixed token supply. So no, it's definitely a hot opportunity, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's definitely looking very good in the short term even.
yeah.
So how?
I mean, elephant. It's math money. It's the way it rises is on a parabola. But when you open a token up to the greater market with way deeper pockets, it's an exponential rise. It's you put the 2 exponential, 3 exponential, 4 exponential. It's not limited by the LP at that point.
So I had a question on SK's AMA, I think yesterday. Once, I understand how elephant, how the price of elephant works through the LP. Once Trump goes to centralized exchanges, does that not become like paper money? How is the price determined if it's not by pure math?
Order books. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's outside of the LPs at that point. There's well, I better be sure it's what I'm saying here.
On a centralized exchange, I'll jump in just a little bit. There's order book flow, so there's people putting buy and sell limit orders on both sides of the price, and
They calculate it all.
And that's how the market determines what the price is. It's the meeting of what the current buyer and the current sell limit they meet. So there's it's constantly just dependent upon the supply and demand of what buy limit are set and what sell limits are set. So that's why people they spoof in CeFi. They've been caught in exchanges. Probably I'm not saying like the biggest institutions, but like in crypto and other markets, they spoof the trade so it looks as if there's a lot of interest to buy at these prices, or maybe it's the exchange manipulating, saying, "Hey, there's a lot of people going to buy Bitcoin at 25,000." So it manipulates people's financial decisions through them being the owners of they have all the back end knowledge and data. And like I said, sometimes they don't play fair, but also, right, if everything's on chain with crypto, and we use decentralized exchanges where the constant product formula dictates the price. So that's how that pricing, the model is different. It's dependent upon just their order book flow and then versus like the constant product formula.
It's going to be a little off depending on which exchange you go to. I don't know if you heard the story about Sam Bankman-Fried, how he made his money. Do you know how he got started?
Yeah, the kimchi arbitrage.
Yeah, he would buy Bitcoin in the US for, I don't know, let's say back then it was probably like $8,000. And then he would sell it immediately in Japan on their exchange for 8,100 at this, like immediately, but it was just $100 difference depending on the exchange.
It was really sophisticated, like because a lot of people realize that kimchi premium. Was it Japan or Korea? It might be
somewhere
Japan.
over there. Yeah,
it was called the kimchi premium, but because to be KYC'd and like, let me pull it up real quick. I thought it was Korea. Let me see. Kimchi.
It might have been. I don't know. I'm just
Because
drunk.
they had I'm sorry, yeah, I'm just in my head. I'm like, I don't, but because they had a very difficult a bit, it was hard to be KYC like on a Korean Bitcoin exchange. So that's why that arbitrage opportunity existed. And like you mentioned, you can look it up if you just type Sam Bankman-Fried arbitrage, you'll read all about it. But it was he, and along with other investors he's able to get together, were able to take advantage of that that arbitrage where many people weren't. It wasn't as it wasn't as easy to access.
Yeah, and so my point is that the price won't be the same price on all the exchanges. It'll be a little bit variant, but it'll be in the ballpark.
It will be now, because now there's your market maker. So all the exchanges.
Well,
yeah, all the exchanges
monitor
each other.
So who do you think the first exchange is going to be?
Sorry, just jump in real quick. The Kimchi Premium, it says there's the gap in cryptocurrency prices in South Korea exchanges compared to other exchanges located globally. So yeah, that's what it was, South Korea. But to answer that question, I'll be a betting man. I think the first maybe not CeFi exchange, but first exchange will be Open Leverage, which we've had previously. Elephant Money has previously worked with in the past. I think it's going to be an awesome one because as if you get put on Open Leverage, it's a decentralized platform. People can supply trunk for both, people going long or shorting as well if you supply trunk for that. So I think there's going to be more, like we're talking about, adoption, eyes on it. We get ranked higher on stuff like Dex tools and Open Leverage. We see, this is one of the most trending tokens on your site. And one thing was really funny. I was going to ask you, Goldwyn, did you ever go onto Open Leverage's Discord page during Elephant Money's, in past, what was that, August, September run up? It was so funny if you did or if you got to check it out. A lot of them were asking like, what's this elephant thing? Why is it so expensive to, to go long on, to borrow? And it was just funny to see because it's exactly what we want. The word gets out. People see, what is this? How the heck is it up? Why 150% in, this short time? And that's exactly what's going to happen with Trunk. So I think Open Leverage is my bet.
I agree.
Open Leverage. Now he said a half a dozen, so that's at least 6. If my math is right?
Not if it's a baker's dozen.
Hey, I was gonna
yeah, okay. So Open Leverage, that's a give me. But what's an exchange that we haven't seen already?
I agree with that assessment that a lot of it has to do with adoption, because you'll see like meme coins like Pepe, all of a sudden they're on Coinbase, and
it won't go on Coinbase.
Yeah,
that's my prediction, because they don't have any BSC smart chain stuff on Coinbase.
Yeah. I mean, that makes total sense. My guess would be it would start off with like a smaller exchange like BitMEX, something like that. And but it also is the speed of adoption. If all of a sudden this thing takes off, you'll see major exchanges take it up, because the name of the game is we have to list the coins that people want, because the way they make money is not by buying and holding. They make money through transactions.
Yeah, I think BuySwap was another exchange that Elephant Money previously had.
BitSwap, I think it was BitSwap, wasn't it?
Is it BISwap?
CryptoZoa, make the scrolling thing.
It's BuySwap, AG, BISAWP, BuySwap.
I like that better, CryptoZoa.
Goldwyn, I tell you what, you misspell everything.
It's okay.
I do misspell just about everything. That's 100%.
It cracks me up.
You're gonna see CryptoZilla come out. You better watch out.
I like CryptoZilla. I'm wondering if that's available.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gone.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other changes, like the redemption queue ending, right?
Yeah, that I've never got into that, but I can see how some people would get pissed if they're like a few days away from,
I was 2 days away from from 7,000 trunk redeemed into 7,000 BUSD.
So are you pissed?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I was expecting you to say no, not at all.
No, no, I mean, I'll call it like it is. I'll call a spade a spade. No, I was definitely upset, and it makes me, like the butterfly effect. I was like 2 days. I was like, what was I doing? If I made one more YouTube video, if I blah blah, like if because it was funny too because even before this, you can see your estimated time to leaving the queue. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna be out Thursday, and then he started talking about rumors about updates and sunsetting, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be out Friday now because the price had dropped a little bit. I'm gonna be out Saturday, and just kept going a little bit slower because and sure enough, the sun was it Sunday he ended it. I get my days confused. Yesterday evening, it was about 4:30 p.m. Eastern time or so, and I'm still sweating. I'm looking. I'm like, there was 5 spots ahead. I'm watching and stuff. I'm trying to be the good guy. I'm going to the governance tab. I was pressing the button. I think I was the last. I paid out 4,300 BUSD. Like 30 minutes before he sent out that message. I was like, he probably saw it. Was like, we're done. We're cut the cord. So I was like, no, I kicked out like 3 or 4 people because they had like less than 1,000. So you're welcome, everyone. Send me a dollar to BSD. But no, I think I was 5 or 6 left. And no, it's upsetting. It was 501 days sitting in the queue.
God.
But ultimately, like we're talking about, I have vision as well, and obviously I understand the protocol on a fundamental level. So that gives me, like I said, I'm upset, but okay, I gotta wait a little bit longer. And hey, it's actually might be a blessing in disguise, because if I had that 7,000 BUSD, I might get a little bit distracted with here. I would have definitely bought some trunk right now and stuff. I probably would have put it all back into trunk at 8, 9, 10 cents. But no, it like I said, I may have, who knows, this has happened to me multiple times where I hold the bag for longer than I intended, or I forget about a coin, and it oftentimes has been some of my biggest wins. One in particular was Veracity VRA. I had bought $1,000 of it, and I staked it on they have their own staking platform, their own native website and such. But because of that, I didn't see it in my MetaMask, like we're talking about. I forgot about it on my spreadsheet. I forgot to go check up on it. And I came back, and that $1,000 had turned to 117,000. And I market sold. I dumped. I probably got incredible slippage. I dumped 100,000. I kept 17,000. And but sure enough, yeah, man, it's a fun feeling opening a wallet and finding $100,000.
Yeah,
and
I haven't got there yet.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at, well, you've got trunk now and trumpet. So those are the kind of things when they have the set that was, I forgot about it for over a year too. I wasn't checking on it every day and buying, selling, and then seeing what people were thinking about it. It was a project I had done a pretty good amount of research on, and I had put $1,000 in, and just for whatever reason out of my spreadsheet, I had forgotten about it, and it worked out for me. Don't recommend that strategy.
Was that your biggest winner?
In a single transaction, yes, I would say in a single sell, but a few other ones I've had like 6-figure sells, but in one fell swoop. But I want to get back to the topic. So trunk might be a blessing in disguise. I didn't get it redeemed, but it does hurt. It stings, and I feel for all my people out there in the redemption queue. Thank you guys for fighting in the chat. I know people are sharing their minds and speaking their minds. Yeah, but it's that's what the community is about, and ultimately, yeah, it's for the greater good. So it is. In
Discord, I heard a lot of complaining about the redemption queue, and I said, yeah, dude, that sucks. I get it. It's I said, but where do you cut it off at? Like, I mean, what if he said, okay, now there's 30 days? Well, then now whoever that 30 days picks up, now the people right behind it are pretty like, well, what about me? Yeah, so there has to be. And he just had to have the balls to be like, no, go fuck all y'all.
He just had to draw a line in the sand.
You just got to draw a line somewhere, and it does suck, and it does suck for anybody that waited that long and wasn't happy about it.
Were you DMing bank teller? Like, hey man, just
no, I
one more day.
It's funny. I thought about that to try to be like maybe, but no, I did not. And I thought as well, if I actually mentioned something, he probably would push it out faster, like, oh, to spite. So no, I didn't. I had my 4-leaf clover. I had my birthday I was petting. I was my lucky stars. I mean, none of it worked. So you just gotta buy and hold. That's how you win an elephant. So
I mean, the bottom line is the redemption queue had to end.
Yeah,
it had to end because it was too slow. It was a conga line. It was like a soup line where they, they laid all out. They ladle out a spoonful at a time, and it
Mhm.
benefits those in front of the line and not the ones in back.
Yeah.
And like I wrote about, it was also being exploited by whales. I was in a
It
Telegram
was.
where one person admitted to creating 100 wallets with 10K trunk in each and depositing them in the queue. And some were praising him. They were going, that's a gangster move. But I just saw it as, stealing from the system. I mean, that was designed to make people whole. It wasn't for people to exploit.
Yeah.
And there's also having a queue for repegging. It acknowledges the stablecoin role of trunk, so that again exposes Bank Teller and the entire project to legal action. And with CZ himself going to jail, I was just like, we have got to take this. We have to take care of this before the bull run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, going back to the farms, I was under the impression that farms was getting paid off of the open market. I thought that he had a contract that would go and buy off of Pancake Swap and pay all the interest through that. I didn't know that they were being minted out of thin air. That was one of the reasons why I was a little upset about farms going, because I was like, man, it's working perfectly. And then I start hearing these things. Oh, it's getting minted out of thin air. Trunk is. I'm like, well, okay, now I can see why it needs to go. But I don't know why he couldn't have kept farms and then changed the contract to where he could have just bought it off the open market.
It might be a good time for anyone out there who's good at their Photoshop skills to make an updated flow chart. So like you were mentioning, AG, you can see kind of the allowances for the different contracts. But like your AG, I think the main reason why he had to cut the farms is that third party liability that existed. We don't know, all this uncertainty with regulation. We don't know about if Dogecoin is going to, something happens, or XRP or USDT or XYZ, and having to always have those that be upkeeped and managed ultimately was
I get that.
got it cut off the cutting board. So that's if people were under questioning why were certain aspects of the protocol removed and some kept, it fundamentally came down to which are weak points towards regulation, or gray areas of where people, if Bank Teller got hit by a bus, that it might not be updated, or the redemption queue doesn't end, or so all of these changes are to lock it up, tie it down, put on a bow, and present it to the market as the bull run heats up. And that's what is in motion, right? We have a few more weeks of December before the new year starts. So I think this is just the next, progression in these final updates for the protocol.
Well, I think that it really streamlines the protocol too. I mean, you had all the Trump products, and none of them were helping the ecosystem now. Now, I do realize that Trump was the driving force on the first parabolic run. And so, I know I keep saying Discord, but that's where I hang out currently. They were like, oh, well, all the people that built this protocol are getting screwed. And it's all like, well, no, we get it, but all that money was stolen. So now all the money that's trying to make you whole again is from all the new people that are pushing the ecosystem. So this kind of forces us all into the same boat. Whereas now, Elephant and futures and NFTs is the driving force of the money, and it's now, Trump is no longer that stepchild that's just taking money. It still kind of is, but it's we're all in the same boat. We can all see that if Elephant, moves forward, then all of us move forward. It's not about, okay, I can build the biggest stampede, bag, and then keep rolling that over and over and over, and it's not going to help the ecosystem. In futures, if you have a maxed wallet and you take out 50,000 and start a new wallet, well, that $50,000 helps Berthman. It goes into Berth and it buys 50,000. Well, 90% of 50,000. An Elephant.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I mean, anything that was trunk related was, hidden like an ugly stepsister underneath the side menu, and that's probably a bad metaphor to use. But there's like zero promotion. Like the whole volunteer media army didn't discuss it, and that was for a reason. Yeah, exactly what you said, Goldwyn. Said it wasn't contributing to anything. Like for myself personally, I know I was in farms briefly, but there goes my Amazon. But as a light bulb there's a light bulb that went off in my head. Oh my God. And as I sold everything to establish, my Trilly bag, I had no use to park the funds. I mean, I sold my Bitcoin, like the last thing I thought I was going to sell, but I was like going at the time, I was going, you either get it now, you establish your Trilly bag now, or you will forever wave it goodbye. Like the ship will have sailed. And I've never regretted doing that. I also didn't see I saw a path to getting to repegging, but it had a lot of uncertainty on the timeline. But, if you look at Elephant from, post-exploit bottom to a near all-time high for the second time, that would have been your 5X, and you could have exited out and been whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think Trunk will do exactly the same thing, but I used to describe Elephant on steroids, but I think Trumpet and Trunk is really going to be on steroids, honestly.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
So,
all right, I want to jump in real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think that people are going to start bailing out of Elephant and just going into Trunk?
Well, I think that's happening now with some people who are trying to time the bottom. I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers, but I think only a third have transferred last time I read on the Telegram. So we have a big amount that are coming in. And so all those people are still having to confront that decision point, whether to sell it and go in heavy into Trunk or go into Trumpet, or to sell it. And we haven't seen the bottoms yet. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that it's 8.3. We'll see. Yeah. Until he starts up the buying machine for Bertha, that's when we start seeing it go exponential.
When do you think that's going to happen?
Well, it'll follow the same pattern as Elephant, but more steep is about as accurate as I think it's going to get.
Yeah, he said governance contracts were being worked on tonight, is what he said at some point in time today.
Yeah, I mean, with the burning, okay, so you have a token that's it's going to be on the open market, has a burn mechanism, and it has an automatic buying mechanism. Like when you hear the stories of Hex and Richard Hart, it went up like 16,000%. And some of the speculation behind it was that he was manually doing buys. So it wasn't like an automated system, and he drove it all the way to the top and then he sold it. And that's how he made his millions. So now we're taking the same thing, but we're automating it. And not only that, it's not just, 1 quadrillion tokens. It's what? I can't remember the number of it.
100 million?
I think it's like 125. When I did
you have a much tinier amount, and it's becoming deflationary. There's going to be less of it.
I think 125 is what ETH is. I think there's 125,000 or million ETH, and that's what, $2,000 right now.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's being used though. Trunk doesn't do anything.
Sure, it gives yield in Trumpet.
When I look at Trumpet and Trunk, to me it's like a meme coin with a mechanism behind it to drive it up.
Now, could he change the code of Trunk to do something?
I mean,
could you write smart contracts on?
I mean, I'm not a developer, but his stated goal is to revoke it, all the contracts, or as many as he can. And that's for a reason. I mean, one, he removes himself from the equation, and so all of the legal issues and regulatory exposure is all of a sudden gone. Like the machines are running it. The other thing is that he can't be accused of manipulation. And a lot of hedge funds, they're dealing with other people's money, and they won't go into something unless they know exactly what the rules of the game are. So they'll look at these recent changes. There's no way they would ever go into Trunk until it's revoked. But at the moment it's revoked and it goes on to centralized exchanges, hedge funds are going to take a close look at this. And then one person's going to get into it and it's going to be super successful. And then everyone's going to pile on.
Yeah, and I really think because, I was wondering why he was pushing so hard to try to have the keys revoked by this year. And I really feel like that's the conversations he's had. I mean, obviously I don't have any inside knowledge or anything like that, but I feel like
who was that guy that's a billionaire that he's talking to? Oh, I can't think of his name now.
Steve Harvey.
No. He's an actual money guy. He's oh god, I can't think of his name now.
He's the gentleman who got the Terra Luna tattoo, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Mark Novogratz.
Novogratz.
Yeah,
Novogratz.
Yeah.
That's the guy I'm thinking of.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike. Yeah.
Galaxy Digital. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he's talked to him. I mean, he's got billions.
I mean,
fun.
BT said he talked to him
twice, like 2 or 3 times. I thought.
Thanks, Greg.
There you go.
Hey, nice. Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be more opportunities as the market heats up. A lot of, we talk about our EM live in-person conference in 2024, but also other sort of crypto, Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin not in Miami this year? Or aren't they going to Tennessee?
No, it's in Tennessee, Nashville, I think. Yeah.
So I mean, all of these sort of. Sorry, you're going there, Patrick?
Yeah.
Are you really? Nice.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to get the herd and all together, and all these different events. But because as we know in crypto, it has that virality component behind it, where once it, just like we're talking about the hedge funds, once they find the good things, the cream rises to the top. And people who really who are involved in the space, and they go to like a conference or networking in this space, like that's the word of mouth travels. So, and also once again, as we print green candles, will appear on the automated side when it comes to bots that find the pumping coin. So it's really cool, a machine that is all kind of being wrapped up.
Zach, you want to run through how to migrate your Stampede real quick?
Sure. You want to do it live? Let me pull up an account. Let me pull up an account real quick. Give me 1 moment.
Go ahead and pull it up. I'm gonna make myself another drink.
You should just make a cooler, son. Come on.
Make a cooler. Hold on. I gotta fix this. There you go. Look at that handsome man over there in that yellow outfit.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Let me pull up I'm gonna pull up a Stampede account with just a few trunk in it.
All right, don't ask me anything. Goldwyn, take over. I'm getting myself another Coke.
Let's see.
No problem, son. No problem.
I'm gonna grab something too.
Give me about 30 seconds, 20 or more.
All right, so Tony, the quick synopsis is you just have to go into Stampede and then click in the Stampede button, and then there will be a button that says transfer to Trumpet. You just click that and approve the contracts, and it will automatically mint your Trumpet with your available and total deposits. So you don't technically have to compound your available into your total deposits. It will take both of them over.
That's right. Yeah.
And then that's fully liquid. So if you did want to sell, you would just redeem your Trumpet for Trunk, and then you can sell it on PCS. Or if you'd like to buy Trunk on Trumpet or on PCS, then you can mint Trumpet with your Trunk. But the Stampede is kind of it's just a one button migrate. Yeah. And actually, it's not called migrate; it's called transfer, because migrate was V5 to V6.
I'm almost there. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's it's the end of an era. Shout out to everyone who was in Stampede. I mean, I'm sure many of us found elephant money through our interest in Stampede or Trunk. So I think we're going to have a resurgence, just as we talked about. Trunk was responsible for the last run up. I think maybe not in the same way, but in a different kind of way, it will be responsible for our next big leg up as more people find out about our cool DeFi bank. Let's see here, though. I think I almost got an account here. Let's see. Nope, I migrated this one. I had a few that were small. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What drink?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
No, it's all right. No.
Yeah, drink. Do that too.
What's your favorite sandwich?
That's on our list.
My
Mine is
favorite
actually
sandwich.
Italian from Publix. We call them
Oh.
pub subs. I don't know if you have. Well, you're in Colorado. You don't have Publix.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably like, "What's a Publix?"
No, I don't.
Hey, what is that? What do you got in your hand right there?
Old fashioned.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, look at that! Did
I'm
you
digging
make that
that
on
ice.
the break?
No, I just did the premix. Bullet.
Oh, bullet old fashioned premix. I like it.
Yeah.
Got me some old number 7
Whoa.
Make sure I have enough.
and some Coca-Cola. Gotta
All right.
mix it. I'm a mixer.
So, Patrick, what are your thoughts about the transition to killing all of the liabilities?
I mean, I'm all for it. But I luckily avoided all of the landmines that people are running into, so I didn't go into the redemption queue. I took all my money out of the farms and I put it into Elephant. So for me, I didn't have any frustrations about it, but I understand the decisions that were behind it to make the whole ecosystem, that much stronger. So now we have all the products that we can really get behind. So as someone who's a content producer, now I don't have to say that's like, we don't really talk about that right now. Let's focus on the other stuff,
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
That's
probably why we're the black sheeps.
I really think 2024 is going to melt a lot of people's faces, and
I hope so. I'm ready. I'm tired of people looking at me and going, "There's that weirdo that's into crypto." I'm ready. I'm ready to blast off.
That's a badge of honor you got to keep wearing until you get a suit like this. Okay, that's the first badge you wear.
I can't wait to be sitting here in a whatever color suit. We'll all pick different colors or something.
I like it. I got it. I got an account pulled up. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen if that's cool.
Cool.
Do it. Let's get it started.
Entire screen. Dun dun dun. All right. If you just could put my screen front and center and let me know when it's ready.
It's going.
I see it.
Look
Awesome.
at that. Subscribe and happy hours right perfectly. Man, I am good. I lined that shit up perfectly.
Nice.
I love it, man. So if you guys aren't familiar, we're here on the Elephant Money Stampede dashboard. This particular account, this individual hasn't been too active in the herd. If we click here, we can see this this individual hasn't migrated to Stampede V6 yet. So this guy, if we click here, the last interaction was 478 days ago.
Wait a minute. What, do you have some random person's account?
No, this is one of mine. It only has 5 trunk. I have lots of wallets. This is one that I had.
Fancy, lots of wallets.
When I was trying to win the lottery through the raffle through the random minting. So one time, just for fun, I had minted 25 trunk. 5 BUSD worth of trunk on 20 different accounts, $100.
Trying to win? Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
And I didn't win though, so it was unsuccessful. So this is one of those accounts I happen to not touched in 478 days. So I'm gonna go ahead and migrate it to the newest, version of Stampede, which is probably where you'll start off at if you've been active.
What are you using, Rabby wallet?
Yes, this is Rabby. See,
that's nice.
68 cents. Dude, you don't use Rabby yet? Do you still use
MetaMask? No, I use
SafePal.
Yeah, SafePal.
SafePal. Oh, you got it. I will show. I got to make a whole tutorial on Rabby. It's so nice, and it is the best wallet I've ever used personally.
I don't do the online on the computer. I feel like my computer can get hacked over my phone. So
really,
what are you laughing about, Goldwyn?
I just I don't use a computer because it can be hacked, but my cell phone is fine.
Oh man,
shut up.
Yeah, keep your security safe, whatever you feel comfortable, and you take proper precautions and use that method that you feel good with. I was going to jump here though, so this is probably how your Stampede currently looks like. You'll see you have some sort of total value here, some sort of available trunk in your dashboard. So what we'll do is just click Stampede. And as Goldwyn talked out, there's this easy button right here, transfer to Trumpet. So I'll just click that. what's cool with Rabby, I really like, it's very easy to change the gas fee to 1, right? So instead of paying 22 cents, I'm only asking to pay 7 cents worth of BNB for my gas fee. So
Yeah, that's a much better feature than SafePal has that, but it never works. Every time I've switched the gas fees on SafePal, it's always bounced.
Yeah, I've experienced that with like MetaMask because I've also like manually adjusted the gas limit, and yeah, I agree, it doesn't work for me, but here it works every time, smooth, fast. So after that, so I'm gonna go ahead and get 2 new trumpet. Woo woo!
On a good note, Zach, once you convert to the trumpet, you can then move that to your other wallet if you want.
That's right. So that's the beauty of this update.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, trumpet
no
is
fees.
transferable, wallet to wallet as
No fees.
no taxes, no fee. Yep, no fee.
Now, is it a transfer option, or do you have to just send it
It's
like
just
you're
a
sending-
token. You just send it.
So now,
Yeah.
so ta-da, my transaction complete. So like you're mentioning, if let's say I wanted to send it and hey, I don't see trumpet in my wallet. Let's see, it won't show it here. Hey, where's that coin I just got, that trumpet coin?
Yeah.
What I would recommend people always do, right? Always start at elephant.money.
Yeah, the wiki.
Yep. Wiki or here on the page itself.
Yeah,
And
each page has it.
if we never want to go clicking random links, right? We talk about this so much, but stay on the designated official channels, which are right, the Telegram. There's only one official main channel, right? The wiki.elephant.money page. I'll just pull that up real quick. If you have any question, you want to study elephant money, you want to learn more, there's plenty of stuff to dive in here. So start here, and then that's when you can, if you want to learn more detailed strategies and opinions, like looking in the CryptoZoa articles. But if you want to found the foundational knowledge and information yourself, here's a great, this is where you need to go. Little rant there, but what I'm getting at is, so if we go over to Trumpet, you'll be able to see the official contract linked here, right? Tutorial right here, the security audits, and what's this dashboard here? The Dune dashboard, the analytics dashboard. So if I click contract, it's going to take me to the BSC scan page with the address for Trumpet. And then I can see here, token tracker, elephant, Trumpet, contract right here, 0x5474, yada, yada. I can click copy address. If I go back to whatever wallet you use, you can, let's see if Robbie, if I know how to do it. Let's see, we got wallet.
AG, clip this tomorrow and make a short.
Don't tell me what to do.
Typically, whatever wallet you use, they'll typically have like an import token button. That's what they have on MetaMask. But if not, if you just locate where it says search tokens, you can just paste the contract address in. So now you can see it's viewing those 2.3 trumpet in my wallet. So if I click it, it says token is not listed by Rabby. It will be added to the token list if you switch it on. So I say, yes, please look at this in my wallet. And now it's on. So I click the little exit button. So now Rabby or whatever wallet you're using, it's actually viewing it in your wallet. And so people say, why? What do you mean it's viewing it? Right? There's so many different tokens that in NFTs and other digital assets that can be sent to wallets. So you have to specify, hey, look for this one, right? Look at this one. If it's not a major big token typically. So anyway, that when just right now, if you're trying to add Trumpet, that's the way you would do it.
So does the Trumpet have a price on Rabby wallet?
So it won't show. A good question. If I click here, oftentimes if the token once again isn't correctly indexed and they don't have APIs and stuff set up for it yet, it will show a value of 0. So AG is saying that those 2 Trumpet are worth $0 because it does not know that, oh, a Trumpet is X amount of trunk and trunk has a market price. So all of that has to be set up. I think Rabby has some sort of system where you can add your token and it can track it, or maybe there's a whitelist approval. I'm not too sure, but yeah, sometimes it might show the actual USD dollar value. This is just showing that I can now interact with it. So right now, like you mentioned, I can send it to my other wallet, or maybe send it to a friend or family member that I'm helping onboard. I can, if I click swap here, I think it's probably going to have a error here, but I'm not too sure. not going to go through all this right now. Let's just see for fun, just to see what will happen if I try to swap to USDT. Let's just see what happens. Get quote. Yeah, unable to fetch price. That's what I think is going to happen, because once again, it's not a token that is on a DEX that is indexed for like many others are.
Do you think BT will do that? Will fix it?
No.
Well, something like Trumpet, right, it exists in the Elephant Money ecosystem primarily, right? You have to mint it or redeem it, and so those functions probably will not be supported by third parties. Like they're like, we're not going to support that stuff. So there will be contracts that will, right? Decentralized finance is about, right? They often are, the analogy of a Lego, money Legos is used. So other contracts can use Trumpet and they can use Trunk. They can build, they can build other, use cases for these tokens. But natively, like I think Goldwyn mentioned, yeah, I don't think that it will ever be. You'll have to go through the elephant.money to unwrap, redeem, and such. So, but for something like Trunk, I think that will be quickly supported. Like he's saying, if it gets on things like 6 exchanges, if it gets on MEXC, if it gets on BitMEX, if it gets on some of these other ones that they're just looking for, they're looking for these new token listings, then it probably will get picked up more prevalently, and it will be able to be swapped within something like within even a wallet. You'll be able to swap for a Trunk, just like our recent partnership with Jumper Exchange, where now no matter what chain you're on, you can purchase Elephant token. You just go to jumper.exchange, you select your starting out chain. So let's just say I'm a BNB, but it can be any chain. You just look for Elephant, and they have Trunk too. That's cool. Let's see here. The Trunk is coming up.
Okay.
Let's
see this if it'll come up.
In Jumper, though, I noticed that I wasn't able to just buy Elephant off of it. Maybe it's my ignorance of it, but it seemed like I had to buy a different coin first and then swap it.
So what is Jumper? It's just like a change now?
It's a change now, but think of them instead of it change now as like a business, right? It's like me, hey AG, hey Patrick, hey Goldwyn, let's make our own crypto business, right? They have I'm not sure if it's a decent, it's by Lido Finance, I think. So I think there's some sort of conglomerate, but it's basically doing what Change Now is doing, but I think on a decentralized network fashion. So I think it's aggregating all the different routes. So let's say I wanted to go from Ethereum, ETH to BNB. It's showing you the different aggregators, the different. It's kind of like you're consulting. Let's say you want to buy insurance. You go to insurance salesman. They say, hey, we can go with State Farm. We can go with Geico. We can go with, right, because they have this quote at this one. They have this quote at that one. So it provides you different quotes. And Patrick, to answer your question, I think you can go straight to the Elephant token. So here on BSC scan, I'm just grabbing the Elephant contract address. Not to contradict myself, go through Elephant Money's website, right? You just go here, go to Elephant, right? Scroll down, you'll see right over here on the right, token tracker. Is this the one here? So I get the token address for Elephant here. So same thing with Jumper. It looks like they've got Trunk listed. That's funny right here. Well, no, they don't have Trunk. I'm sorry. It's because I have it in my wallet. But if I just paste the Elephant token address here, it will come up straight to Elephant. Or like I mentioned, if I add it to my wallet real quick. So let me go back here, add Elephant to this wallet address. Boom. So recognize this token. Oh, blocked. Nope, don't want to block it. Okay, I guess it's recognizing now that I have it on this website. Let's see. Maybe because I have none in my wallet, it won't come up. Strange. But I just wanted to show you that real quick about the Jumper exchange. So yeah, you just put Elephant's contract ID here, and it knows it's on the BSC. And it doesn't matter if you're coming. So just a little alpha. What I personally like to do, like when I'm purchasing Elephant or Trunk, I usually will withdraw on Coinbase via the Polygon Matic blockchain and get USDC. And so typically I'll use USDC on Polygon and then buy, a stable coin or buy BNB to mint NFTs. So anyway, sorry, little Jumper exchange tutorial. We can go back to the full full screen, and that's how you do the migration though. Or not, is it migration? What are we calling it? The trumpet to the
Well, it's
trumpet
migration, but I think it's just called transfer. So
transfer. Yeah,
that's
okay.
why I've been trying to say transfer, since that's what the button actually says.
Transfer.
Tony, did you get that?
If we could to Patrick, I was curious, what is your personal approach to building an elephant money portfolio? Are you a fan of any particular of the products? Do you want to? I know you mentioned you're buying your trillion bag of elephant. What's kind of your big picture when it comes to building your elephant money portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, there's a light bulb that went off in my head when I was looking at elephant and the way the ecosystem works together. And I'm really just focused on the three main ones. So the NFTs, elephant token itself, and futures. But when I was looking at it, I was like going, how do I duplicate Bertha? Because she gets a portion of everyone's transactions, whether it's buy, sell, or transfer. So it's kind of like an ever-flowing flow of elephant into her coffers. So how do I do that for myself? And so what I did was I, like I've said before, and even in Medium articles, like I do have a Trilly bag, and I established that first. But then I was going, how do I not touch it? So I created a large futures account that allows me. It starts at like 6 figures. You can make your guess if it's high or low figures.
Oh, you started your futures account 6 figures?
Yeah, I went all in, and because I wanted to retire now, there's no way that
I don't blame you.
Go back into the corporate world. So I would do anything possible to do that, and futures was the way to do it. But I was thinking, okay, what is the way to do an ever-flowing flow of elephant that's better than reflections?
Mm-hmm.
Because reflections, when you look at it, is pretty tiny. And unless you like the one level down for referrals really won't do it either. I mean, I probably have one of the largest groups, and it's still not that much. So then I looked at NFTs, and I was going, well, that's it, because that spits out elephant into perpetuity, depending on how much you have. And so if you have, like, say, 100 NFTs, and they produce 20 cents each, all of a sudden that's what, $20 a day?
Yes.
But the thing is that it's a percentage of the treasury. So as the treasury grows, all of a sudden, let's say the treasury does doubles. All of a sudden it's 40 cents per NFT.
Mm-hmm.
Because a 10x, all of a sudden we're talking about $4 each, and so times 100, so $400 a day, and that's not even taking into account the doubling. And so a lot of people realize that, like they think.
It doesn't take into consideration that that's elephant too. So that's not really taking into consideration that price appreciation either.
Right.
And I think one of the biggest things that I don't think people understand with the NFTs is, like you said, that's 20 cents a day, today.
Right.
But if the elephant price 10x's, that means going back in history, that was $2 for that day.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Per NFT.
Once it went from round 1 to round 2, the value of my holdings instantly doubled.
That's a huge W in this market. You're telling me you just got a double of your position?
Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy. I love it.
So how many NFTs do you own, if you don't mind me asking? Give us a ballpark.
More than 50, less than 200.
Okay, Goldwyn. That's what he said.
But the more important thing is to get into some sort of DCA schedule. So like right now, I'm buying 2 a week.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Okay.
Done. That's awesome.
The reason is because I see it could be bigger than the elephant token itself, if you have the eyes to see it. Like, talk about like 5 years from now, when it's like 16 BNB to buy one, and BNB is $1,000 a piece. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
So BT has totally screwed up my strategy for the long game. So I'm starting from scratch.
Welcome to Elephant Money.
Yeah. So maybe you can help me think of a new strategy.
Okay.
He just told you the strategy.
I'm going to tell you my strategy or my position. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So transparency. My goal for Elephant was 150 billion. I got there. This week on the last dip on Saturday. Thank you. Let's drink to that. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay. So I got to my elephant goal of 150 billion. I've got 25 NFTs. Okay. Trunk tokens. I've got 85,000 trunk tokens.
You're so good, man. I'm just letting you know you're in such a great position. Sorry, keep going.
I know, but I'm not a trillionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So, but every time I look at my profile, or not my profile, but my I guess that's what it's called, right? Profile.
I guess your exposure to each of the assets. Or
I don't know. It just seems like, I'm constantly, like, every day. It seems like I'm losing money, but I'm not losing it. It's just the price is down because the elephant's gone down because that's my biggest holding. But where do I go now? Where do I start feeding my money into? Do I buy more trunk tokens? Do I buy more NFTs? Oh, by the way, 2,000 in futures. That's where I'm at. So I've got a small futures bag, decent size NFT bag, I guess. And I think I'm pretty good on both tokens. So in your expert opinion, let's say I've got $400 every 2 weeks to put into the ecosystem. What would your advice be to me?
Well, we have to start off with your goals. Do you want to leave work? Do you want to retire now?
My goal is to retire in the next 24 months or sooner.
Okay.
I don't think I will because I like my job. I love who I work with and everything, but I want to have the ability to say, have a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it's advantageous to keep your job and invest into this because you will never get it any cheaper. And that's with everything that's involved. And whether you're talking about NFTs or trunk or elephant, the cool thing is that the wealth generators in different ways. And so, if your target is to be a multimillionaire or a billionaire at some point, which could happen within the next 5 to 10 years with the portfolio you just told me about, you have an easy problem. It's not someone who can only put in starting with 200 and then only put 200 a month or every 2 months. Like in the town I live in, there's a bunch of poor people who are trying to get to an income level that's basically minimum wage. And I'm like going, yeah, give me 200 a month for 4.5 years and we'll get you there. Yours is in the multi-million-dollar range. So there's, like I say, it's like, it's really easy. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you could just buy.
It's easy to say that, but then I'm like, man, am I making the right decisions? Should I be putting this into like the S&P 500 instead of elephant money or Bitcoin or something? But
my thinking
I've got belief in it.
My thinking is that you get to a point where you never touch your elephant money. If you have that mindset, and also if your end goal is to not just leave your job, but become a multimillionaire, like to actually be rich, then, you have really great products. Any one of them can take you there at your level. And so
for what would you do?
What I just described with my own is that I have NFTs that throw off elephant. I have my elephant bag secured and I'm not touching it. And I have an income that keeps growing, month to month. Like it's a low 6 figures now. I'll just, open kimono. But I have the path to it being, bigger than that, like heavier hitting. So the upper end of the 6-figure range. At a certain point, it's like, like I say, there's enough, and I'm already at enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm just going to go for it. And there's no vehicle out there that exists that I know of. Like, to me, Bitcoin isn't going like a. I know people saying it's going to go to 1 million, but you do the math against 21 million. It's pretty high.
Yeah.
To me, it's like it'll bump up against 100,000 and then it'll drop, because the thing is, like I said before, it's like these exchanges, they don't make money on buying and holding. I mean, they do, but they make the most of their money in transactions. And so they'll drive it up, they'll drive it down, they'll drive it up, drive it down, just like gold. Gold is another store of value. And the gold ETF, they said the same thing. It's going to do 1,000x, and it didn't. But your plan, I mean, you're right on right now. The only thing I would add is like Trunk, because Trunk is going to, mark my words, I mean, everything is cool, but Trunk next year is just going to melt people's faces off.
So you think I should be buying Trunk at this point now?
You'll never find it. Well, you might find it a little cheaper in the next 2 weeks, but after that, say goodbye. It's going to be like the plan that he has with the burning and the buying and putting on centralized exchanges. It's like the playbook to pump, like to send a coin into the stratosphere. Like, I thought Elephant was it until I heard about his plan for Trunk.
Yeah,
Really?
it's really cool. You know, we're starting at a position where we have a 70-60 million dollar treasury that is right 1% or 1 to 3% of its APR is allocated to pumping Trunk. So that's like having, you know, we aren't VCs, we aren't you know, multimillionaires all coming in this, and we all have a few million to throw in and see. Right, we're just, you know, the herd. We're just a group of individuals all coming together, and we've established that position, that strength where we do have that firepower. So I agree. If I could throw in my hat and my little 2 cents is, with your current position, I would agree with Patrick. Just that $400 every 2 weeks that you currently have available, I would focus on for the remainder of the year to pick up Trunk at these prices, and you know, see the kind of, as we move into 2024, see what where you may want to pick up some more. But I couldn't agree more. I think you also are set up for having a multi-million-dollar portfolio, and it just goes back to, are you looking to have more, you know, immediate income? Do you want to focus on your, you know, futures or not? But in the short term, like I said, to answer your question bluntly, yeah, Trunk is what you need to be accumulating and minting Trumpet.
Okay, so buy Trunk and then put it in the Trumpet, or
Yes.
should I just keep it? Because I've already got like 85,000 in Trumpet already.
That's
Well,
incredible.
The biggest thing with Trumpet you have to remember is the taxes in and out. But I've been in Trumpet since day one, and you're literally clearing those taxes within a month. So if you're going to hold Trunk for any time more than 30 days, it just doesn't make sense not to be in Trumpet. And I wanted to answer Tony's questions real quick, because he said he was confused because he got half as many Trumpet than he was expecting. Trumpet is a ratio of Trunk to Trumpet. So when you bought it, it was probably at like 2.45 ratio. Well, that ratio, Tony, will never go down. So however many, let's say, for instance, you had 1,000 Trunk that you migrated over. So you would have got roughly 400, and been a little bit less than that. But in the Trumpet, on the Trumpet page, it'll tell you how much Trunk that's worth. That takes into consideration if you were to sell it right now too. So that takes into consideration that 5% out as well. So that confuses a lot of people. However, just know that you got 0.95% of your Trunk value in Trumpet. So what it is, it's a ratio. So, you know, if you have, let's say, 500, you need to multiply it by that ratio of 2.45 or whatever it is right now. And that's how many Trunk it's worth.
Great explanation. Yep, that's it.
That's great.
Just know that you still have the Trunk. It's just wrapped up in Trumpet token, which is always going up. And there was a very early comment about Trunks and Trumpet's APR. Right now, I'm seeing on the Dune Analytics dashboard that Trumpet's annual price change is at 150% APR. So that's meaning Trumpet's ratio of 2.47 current right? It's appreciating at 150% year over year, and that's increasing as more people migrate, more people find out about Trunk, right? But also on top of that, right, the Trunk APR within that is at 126%. So
That's crazy.
getting really good return on your capital, getting involved in.
Yeah, and I can verify that too, because like I said, day one I put in my Trunk, and I just looked at it yesterday, and it was over 100% more.
Yeah, I wanted to ask kind of Patrick, if we could pivot back to you. What is your big picture, big dreams, hopes and dreams for Elephant Money, and in particular too, you mentioned you spend a lot of time with your office hours reaching out to kind of people in your community to help educate them. How do you see crypto's role in helping them with their finances, and just kind of what if you could have your own personal hopes and dreams, what would they be for this space?
Yeah, I mean, my hopes and dreams were that I would find something that wouldn't rug me. And that would actually be, sustainable at a certain level. And so that was my entire quest, like to have something that could help both myself and other people. And, all my dreams about it essentially became realized with Elephant Money. And now I have no hesitancy in telling others about it, other than if they don't have zero knowledge about crypto, then it's a harder path. But I'm in a community that is kind of an example of what's going on in the greater economy, which is the haves and have-nots, and the kind of the low end of the job scale. What's available to most people is like retail and then cutting bud for marijuana farms. Unless you're into construction or plumbing or have some sort of skill behind it, there's just nothing else. And those jobs are very limited. And so I'm kind of behind bank teller's vision that, income for all. And so with that in mind, I'm essentially retired, but it's good when you don't have to work is to have a mission. And then that, I don't know, just makes your life have a purpose. And so I keep office hours at my cafe, and I meet with people, and I talk to them about Elephant Money, and then I onboard them. And I have to withstand, the questions like this week when Elephant price goes down. But honestly, it's like if they have little knowledge about crypto, they're relying upon you as like a shoulder to lean upon. And honestly, at first I would go through the entire explanation of it. It's like, okay, well, the tokenomics are like this, and there's different levels to it, and they have different products, and they interact. But then all of a sudden, it's just like, don't worry,
yeah,
don't worry, just don't look at it. Come back in August or something. That's usually like someone right now. They had an Elephant Money bag, and basically they just gave me cash, and I sent them Elephant. This was in the earlier days. And I swear that everyone thought I was like a drug dealer. I kind of was. I was like, the first taste, I'll make it easy for you.
Yeah.
But once they're in it, and it's just so funny that all of a sudden, like it was during the run-up, and everyone just expected it to keep going and going up. And part of that was my fault. I was just going, yeah, it's a token that only goes up.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I kept telling everyone that.
Yeah. And so then all of a sudden it's like I get this latest dump, and like my brother is going, is this the end? Is this the end? And I'm like going, you're up 100%. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the APR on the best savings account you can get is 5% a year. And you
yes.
Yeah. They're freaking out. But
yeah. Now I just reduce it to one line. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Just don't look at it for a year. Come back. You'll be happy. So I guess that's kind of my view, is that, like I say, I take ownership of this. Like I run this as a business, and I run it through my LLC. So my view of my role is as an evangelist, and to just extol what my knowledge of it is according to every person's understanding. So depending on the person's knowledge of crypto, I adjust that. and also to their income levels. But luckily, I have like a project that has all sorts of wealth generators, and all of them are great in different ways. And in the meantime, I can, since I run it as a business, I can go to these conferences and write them off. So that's kind of like my approach to everything. Like I look at the macro level, and like people are like really into tiny homes, and they're really into them because they're cheap. Some like it because you don't have to, spend a lot of resources. There's like
don't have a mortgage.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. But that's a symptom of a bigger problem, which is the economy and lack, especially in my area, of the ability to have any way of making money. So to have something that's an income generator first, and even the ability to get rich and even mega rich exist. And so it's kind of it's a big gift for people who can recognize that. And I think then, houses can not just be investments, they can be homes, and you can choose whether to live in a tiny home or not. I think at base level, we're good animals, and we've just been, we've been taught that we need to work at a job until we're 65, and
modern day slavery.
We think we're going to travel, but then, you get set in your ways, and it's like travel, you need to be physically sharp, you need to be mentally sharp, and you want to be in a place that you can enjoy the sights that you see. So I'm like going, my biggest mission is to retire people. Nice. Get them out of the rat race. There's no reason why you should be making money for other people, especially with something like elephant money.
Yes, preach. I love it. That's we all share that fire, that mission. Cheers.
There you go. There we go. Cheers to that.
Man, what a gift to give. Bank tellers brought this up before, but what more important job is there out there than putting food on the table and helping people in situations to do that. So I can't agree more. I share that passion to helping share this this gem that I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to find, and really hope to pass on that gift and be that to someone else's life. And it is coming to fruition, because like we're talking about that, there's so many projects I've helped people get involved with and make a little here, learn about DeFi there. But when it comes to building a home in DeFi and building a portfolio and finding a bank in this space, now we have that. So I have people who have been in elephant money for 2 years or a year and 7 months, right? And they have trunk, they have their elephant that's gone up this. So it's so satisfying to see that those hopes and dreams that I had for these people coming into reality. And I love it. I have I know all of us want that for all the people in our lives who we share this with. So yeah, that's
I mean, in my town, there's it really comes home. I know the name of the game is like to make money. That's the game. And but then if you talk about it with people, it's like, especially in the town where I live, and I have a person who's like, her house is probably going to be foreclosed upon. But what does she do? She hands me $200 and says, I want to buy elephant. Or I have another person who lives in a tent in the harsh Colorado winters. I know of another guy who lives in a cave. These sound like weird, like this can't exist, but it exists. There's several people that lives out of their vehicles. Like that's where they sleep at night. And to give them, like, the poor recognize a lifeline that the rich never do. Like they see that and they go, I will take that. If that leads to something that changes my life, I will do that. And that's always inspiring.
Yeah.
Let's see right here, Leonardo. What gets me is the naysayer YouTube channels. I find Bay of Fact with Herd FR2R Factual. Hey, yeah, that's a good point, Leonard. It's so much easier to share negativity, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD, right? That's if you turn on the TV channel, it's called a news station, right? So fundamentally, people love to tear down people and things and such like that. And don't get me wrong, I love criticism. I love the truth. I love accountability. And that's what we have here at Elephant Money through blockchain technology. We have what, in human history, it's so, there's a awesome Max Kiesler little clip where he's just going on Bitcoin, how awesome it is. And he talks about how you fail to recognize this technology is as significant as the discovery of fire or electricity. And that really is what blockchain, when it comes to its ability to be utilized, it really is such a fascinating and important technology. So what I'm getting at is, it's exactly what people need at this time in the world. And I forgot what I was trying to make a point there, but yeah, the elephant token is.
Let's see what you're making over there.
Hold on.
But yeah, man, I like that. What else you guys got going on when it comes to each one teach one when it comes to Elephant Money? Oh, go ahead, AG.
I was just going to ask for some price predictions for the end of the year from Patrick. What do you think we're going to be at New Year's?
New Year's for what?
For everything, all of it. What do you think Trunk's going to be? What do you think Elephant's going to be?
I mean, I think Trunk is going to be in a channel for a little bit, especially with Stampede. Not everyone migrating just yet.
It's going to take a bit.
You'll strap yourself in. There's going to be a lot of volatility, but the thing is that eventually Bertha is going to kick in, and that will be undeniable. So I'm just going to say, I don't know. Right now it's what, at 9 cents or something like that?
Yeah.
So I'll say 25 cents.
That would be good.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
And then for Elephant, I think all of this is going to blow over. And, there will be some tax sales just for people to pay off the taxes or whatever. But right now it's like 32 cents per million.
Yeah.
And I think it's not going to rise that much until January, honestly. So I'll just say like 40 cents until.
So with the tax sales, you think it's going to go up?
No, well, I think so because yeah, I'm just going to say it's going to go up. I think there will be some tax sales, but not everyone's going to do that. And then what else would there be?
That's about it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
I don't know. What are you guys' predictions?
What about B&B? Do you think B&B is finally going to start? I mean, it's one of the only blue chips that's still negative for the year.
It's not going up past 240.
Well, there's still a lot of negative. People are still sussing it out, especially with the settlement. Like the news is in, but there's going to be a continual stream of negative news, like covering the settlement.
Yeah,
and then going to jail.
Is he really going to jail, or?
I mean, they'll settle it, right? They'll settle it in a way that he doesn't go to jail, right?
Yeah, it'll be a jail overlooking a cliff in California.
Yeah.
In a $1 billion house.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll be outside with the mic up to the jail. CZ, I need to interview CZ.
So it'll be there's definitely some headwinds, but I think the worst of the news is in, and so I'm just gonna say it's going to be 300. Like the smart money is gonna see it for what it is.
You think 300?
And that they're going to start wading in, and then
by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, and by the end of next year, it's gonna have fireworks. Like I think it'll reach 1,000.
By a year from now, 12 months from now.
Yeah, because all the negative news is in, and then the new guy is a regulatory expert.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things that have weighed down BNB are gone next year, and it's the biggest exchange. It blows away Coinbase. It blows away every other exchange out there, and so they were just needing regulatory certainty, and now we have it.
Yeah, and that was one thing when they said 4 billion, and people were like 4 billion. I'm like, that's nothing. That's nothing.
It's nothing. It's slap on the wrist. He's not going to spend any time in jail. They're just right now. They're just hammering out the finalities of it. That's what a settlement is. Only 3%, less than 3% of cases go to trial anyway, and they've settled. So now they're just figuring out how much money you have to pay and other negotiations. That's it.
So your trillion bag, when did you get in?
I mean, I got in 2021, like August, something like that.
August. So that was after the exploit?
It was way before.
Way before. Oh, when did the exploit happen?
2022.
March 2022.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're in 2023.
I don't remember.
When? Hey Patrick, I know you told us you met BT at Denver ETH. When was that in your? You were already in Elephant, but where was that at in your journey?
That was in March of 2022, and that's when ETH was.
Oh wow!
And what's that post exploit? Yeah, or before, one of the two.
It was right there at it. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think it was
post exploit.
I think it was post exploit that I met him, and I looked at the tokenomics, but I saw the price fall, and I was going, I need to talk to him about this. And
this doesn't seem right.
I just needed to suss it out because basically the tokenomics made complete sense to me. Like it looked magical to me. Like it was all the hyper compounders, it solved all the issues with that, like all the flaws in that, and he figured it out. But I needed to talk to him because I knew if I was going to turn on the publishing machine of CryptoZoa, that I needed to meet him, shake his hand, have lunch with him, discuss a few things. And it's funny because it was just like this sort of casual meeting, and but enough was said between us that it was just like it just completely convinced me, and I just went, okay, time to go guns blazing. This is it. Sell everything down to the ground and get into Elephant.
Can you tell us more about CryptoZoa? And you guys sponsor a monthly writing contest. I've heard you can make some money actually writing some online articles and educating some people.
Yeah, so it's basically based on views, and you have to write for the publication because that's the only way I can verify the views. And then you also have to join my Telegram group, and just because if I put out news, you have to hear it. And so we have I'm probably I'm the most prolific writer, but I don't participate in the contest. So the contest is open for everybody else. But to give you an idea, the prizes are, it happens every two months. And at the end of 2 months, it ended in November of this one. So October and November, the prizes are, first prize is 600 BUSD, second prize is 400, third prize is 200. And if you win it the previous month, you can win it again the next 2 months. But what it has been really delightful is that some people have said, you know what, I want somebody else to win. And so they decide not to enter it. And I've had a couple people do that. And those, there's not insignificant funds. I mean, that's they can buy a lot of Elephant. And so there's a lot of people who are what amazes me about this community is that it's mostly volunteer. I mean, we're all volunteers here. All we do is we believe in the project itself enough to do these sort of things, like this interview or this YouTube, my Medium article. I mean, you Zach, you have your very own YouTube channel, and that just belief of that is just amazing. And then that people would step aside not to have that reward, just so that someone else can get excited about the writing and winning a reward. So just to give you some ideas of the stats, I have it written down somewhere here. I know that we've had, can't find it. So more than 17,000 views. We've had more than 43,000 claps. And I can't remember the comments, but it's also quite high.
Yeah, like every time I go on to Medium, I always see CryptoZoa publications pop up. I'm sure it's probably because of my search history and such. But yeah, I think you guys have a great kind of writing machine. Definitely, it's been super helpful for myself and sharing with other members of my personal herd. So I appreciate all of the work you've put into helping educate the herd. And I just want to say thank you for that because I've used it personally and for friends and family. And I can't express, like you mentioned, it just reaches a larger audience because people can read and see images and it makes associations. That's something I've wanted to join the writing competition. So you can count me in for December, January. Is that the next cohort?
Next one. Yeah, it's cool because it used to just be me writing, and then I went, how do I multiply myself? Well, that's to accept other writers. And then Bank Taylor recognized that, and he said, you know what, I want to sponsor the contest. And so the funds are coming out of the marketing budget. And it's so great of Bank Taylor to do that because he'll do that on a 5-monthly basis. And I just send him the people who have won, and a week or two later they receive it, and then we go on to the next round. So it's a great motivator for creating content around it, and it explodes the readership of CryptoZoa. Like I used to put all my articles behind a paywall, but then I realized, well, what's my goal here? My goal here is to have as many people read my articles as possible. And so now I've removed all of my articles from the paywall. And I don't necessarily think a paywall is bad. Like most of the writers are getting paid, and I think they should be. For me, if I take ownership of the project, then the project will pay me. So I don't necessarily, like I was making over $600 a month on writing. And then I just went, you know what? It's okay. I have futures. I don't need that. It's better that more people get knowledge about the protocol and how to get in.
Yeah.
Definitely
Well,
great.
That's why we started this channel. Is we're not expecting to be YouTubers or anything, but we believe in the project, so we're going to talk about it. Good things or bad things, we're going to say our piece about it. But at the end of the day, we believe in it, and that's why we decided spread the word and get more people in, because that
I mean, that was the same for you, Zach, right?
Yes. Just I got really I share kind of your what we're all discussing here is that I've been in crypto for 9 years ish now, and I never been a big person to be in front of the camera. I'm more of a lurker, more of an introvert. But I feel if you go all the way around, you become extrovert again. I don't know, but I just got to a point where I had my wins and losses in crypto, and I never had found a project where I had such a conviction, both from a math perspective, but also from a what this community is about and what I'm seeing happening, like, and to really get excited to want to be part of it. Like, that was just a calling I had. And I never was a YouTuber. I started this YouTube channel, and I started off with those shorts. I'm jumping in the water, elephant money. And that's funny. I tell you, I really do enjoy educational side of things. And I have my own little kind of business. I help people with that, but it's something that I'm continuing to enjoy, being in front of the camera. But yeah, man, there never was a motivation for me to really want to share people. They know I did crypto, I make some money. Okay, try to do some, but like there was never like a conviction that this is something bigger than me that I want to be a part of. And when I found Elephant Money and saw what I saw, it made me spur to action. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been a great ride since, and I love getting the word out. And that was kind of my first approach. Is kind of there's so many people who just do educational things. That's why I was jumping in the pool. I wanted just people to look and get curious, because I knew that people with a deeper interest, like they'll do the research, they'll do the work, and they'll find out. So I like that baseline awareness. But I've now tried to do some other stuff and do stuff like this. But yeah, man, I share that passion that I know all of us on this call share of this project, and just want people to know. And yeah, I've enjoyed it ever since. So
Goldwyn and I were talking this weekend, and we were like, how can we one up Zach and instead of jumping into a pool, how can we get everything going? And Goldwyn volunteered himself to go skydiving, and yeah, yeah, yeah. Why are you
Wow.
shaking your head?
Going. I can't wait to see that. That tick with a big birthday. You got to have a big. There he is. I'll let you borrow my Bertha. She can throw her out first, and then you can.
Yeah. He said he's like, I'm going to buy me one of those elephant costumes and jump out of the plane, and
Nice.
we'll videotape it, with the zoom on because we'll be on the ground.
Do it, man.
And,
That'd be so awesome. I'll watch it 100 times. I'll replay it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that'll
Please
get a ton of views. Ain't that right, Goldwyn?
Maybe when we hit 1,000 members, we can revisit this non-conversation.
Hey, you heard it here, Rugs2Riches. Subscribe right now. Tell your friends. You want to see a guy jump out of an airplane with an elephant on him?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything to spread the word.
That's right, man. There's, that's the thing. Yeah, I had my little Bertha. I went to the New York Stadium thing, but I know I've always known that it was for, just our group in the herd. I knew they would appreciate it, and kind of like you're mentioning, Patrick. I've always had that business kind of mindset, ownership mindset as well. Growing up, my father has like a martial arts studio, so like I've always been running small businesses and helping him and understanding, the bigger picture, like you're saying, like if knowing the return on helping people and educating them and each one teach one, understanding it's not for this, the short-term gain, it's for the long-term gain. And so I just saw that. I saw the platform of YouTube just being another way we could get the word out. And I just think anyone can be just like me, you, or AG or Goldwyn. We all have our strengths, whether it be writing online articles or being silly online, or maybe you're more into some, there's so many Quora. We have all these different platforms that you can educate and get information out. Medium, articles, Reddit, LinkedIn, Discord. So the more we're just on these fronts and just getting the word out, the herd wins. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Zach. I think that's the way to think about it, because everyone is going to get to enough. Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very blessed to say, for whatever I like material things. I'm not to say I'm not greedy and such, but I feel like I've reached a certain level of enough sincerely where I don't, I've told AG and Goldwyn multiple times, like I don't check my elephant bag every day. I don't know how much elephant I actually own.
Yeah.
I don't check on the price day, and I try to educate others that we talk about. Price is temporary. It's knowing what you have and where you're going towards your goals. That's what's important when I hit those goals. What you can measure what so that's kind of just my perspective on things is, we're so early. BT has, he's crafted the protocol for us. Now it's in the herd's hands to make it become what it's going to become.
So, and I just talked to this guy. He lives in California, and he has a lot of money to throw into this. And I just asked him what his goal was, and he said, "Well, 20,000 a month would be great." But I had a response to that. It's like, you put in 400 grand, and there you go. If you want to retire now, or put in less, take advantage of the yield and retire in a year. I mean, that sort of problem is easy. It's just math.
Yeah.
Especially with something like EM, it's not like, okay, I guess you have to go work for Google or Tesla or whatever, and then maybe you'll retire.
Yeah.
So what would you say to all the people that are, selling the elephant bags right now? Because there's, what was there, like two trillion bags?
Two top 10 guys.
Two top 10s.
I would just that was my 2 cents. I would first step back and ask myself, why did I buy elephant? Why did I get involved in this project? Where did I hear about it? What is, go back to square one. Why did I get involved? Okay, I was looking to retire. I'm looking to build a passive, I'm looking to retire. Or, I was looking to build a passive income portfolio. I was looking to, whatever your reason may be, revisit that and say, okay, well, what was my deadline on that goal? Was I trying to retire in, so just reassess, go to square one, and just see if you sold, just reassess, is this the, is there a better place for your capital? And if not, reassess maybe, what elephant money can do for you. Because I always try to stress this so much. We're not going anywhere. This is blockchain. It's on the blockchain. We're getting closer now than ever where it's automated, full, all on chain, can't be turned off. It's like Pandora's box that's sitting, it can't be, once it's opened, it can't be closed. And so if you've sold elephant and you're a bit emotional because you see the big swings, just revisit why you got involved in the first place, and then just go back to the right steps to get towards your goal.
Yeah, for myself, I think you guys would all agree that there's too much focus on price. And then, we were going to discuss like self-shaming versus self-celebrating.
Yes.
The thing is that if you're concerned about the price, you're looking at the wrong metric. The metric is Bertha. And Bertha is about to cross 200 trillion. And and then it'll cross 220 trillion, and then it's going to keep on going. And so you'll see these like 4 trillion cells and 1 trillion cells, and they'll be less and less significant. So right now, what people don't realize is that if you're focusing on price and you're not like buying elephant like crazy, like nuts, that and trunk, you don't understand the system. You don't understand what you're doing. It's both of them are going to melt faces in different ways. You have to get in now, especially before the bull run. Like that's the whole reason I'm buying NFTs, so that it'll be ever flowing, especially in futures. I'm growing that because I want elephant ever flowing, and I want to buy more trunk.
So Patrick, what is your exit strategy? I mean, everyone's got to sell, take profits eventually. Do you have a plan for that, or are you going to keep it and just sell the reflections, or what's your plan?
Futures. I mean, futures is it. You can
So
you're just 800,000 out of it. I mean, how much money do you need?
Well, yeah. So you're planning on keeping your Trilly bag and not selling it, not touching it?
He's looking for a bigger yurt, so he might have to touch it.
I might buy the house above me, but my plan is to never touch my Trilly bag. It's for the next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
And my futures, I mean, it just keeps growing. Like I'm past enough now. And so all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'll start another futures wallet. Okay, I'll do that. I mean, how much do you really need to make? Let's, do you want to? I mean, there'll come a time where it's just like, if you do it correctly, that you can be in private jet territory. I mean, it exists in this. Then you have to ask yourself, all of a sudden, when money doesn't matter, what do you really want? Like for me, it's having a mission and retiring people and doing whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting my time back.
Yeah, and not beholden to anyone. So for me, I don't have aspirations of owning a private jet, but I would like to ride in one.
Yeah.
I want the freedom to do anything. I don't want any experience barred from me.
Yeah.
And I can do that without selling a single elephant.
That's something Bitcoin supporters, Bitcoin maxis can't say. The guys who have thousands of Bitcoin, they're going to have to dump on their network on the thing that made them successful. Whereas BT has built the protocol in such a way, someone like Patrick or other large whales, they can support the protocol, still have a immense, just unfathomable amount of wealth in the protocol, at the same time be taking a weekly, daily, monthly paycheck from it and sustaining their wealth, indefinitely. They don't have to kill the golden goose. They don't have to hurt the thing that made them successful. They can have this outlet known as Trumpet, Trunk, Futures, NFTs, and it's so beautiful because you're not hurting yourself. You're helping yourself with the compounds and such. So that's really, I like that that strategy. by the way, Patrick. That's really cool. And like you said, your futures is already at that enough state where it's you know, these other protocol, it's just cherry on the top, right? Oh, I got all this elephant coming in also, but I've already got all my bills paid. I've already got all my expenses covered. It's like it's a real estate, people. I know that's why I love having these conversations, because there's so many people out there who are thriving and using the protocol in different ways. Yeah.
I tell you what,
Yeah,
I'm getting bullish just talking to you, Patrick. I am. I'm like, I'm listening to you and I'm like, damn, 24 months from now, life is going to be good.
Yeah,
maybe even sooner. Maybe
Get excited.
Sooner.
Get excited.
I am.
Good.
I mean, there's nothing barring you from having a second futures wallet. So, and like the hyper compounders, there's it's not a negative on the system. So you can have a second wallet that's just simmering, or like once your first wallet gets to a certain point, you can just start peeling off 200 every month just to build it up while you're living off the first wallet,
Yeah. That's a good strategy. So what is your strategy for futures?
I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
But for everybody else, just build up your futures wallet to a point where you replace your income and then quit your job, because time freedom and money freedom is the first goal. And at that point, you'll have the time to figure out how to optimize how much money you're going to make. And then at that point, there are so many ways of optimizing it. In a way, like all you'll have is options. Like that's what I'm confronted with. It's like, especially with something like elephant money, all I'm confronted with is, what should I do with my money?
Yeah. Are you worried that the price of elephant will drop too far and it won't be able to pay off the liabilities of futures?
That's a great question, and I only say that because I have heard that. I'm not kidding, 10 times in Discord in the last 3 days.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today.
Go ahead.
I mean, you have to consider who you're asking, and I'm a permeable. And I see the tokenomics, and I've written 100 articles about elephant money, and to me, I just don't see it. Like, I know all the arguments for it. It's like, well, what happens when the liabilities get too big? But we've just made the changes necessary to all of a sudden offload a ton of liabilities. All of a sudden, getting back to peg is gone. Regulatory issues are gone.
Now, technically, we didn't offload the liabilities. The liabilities are still there. That it's buying back the trumpet token, so that they're still paying out the same amount, right?
It's not, but the liabilities aren't escalating. So the flow of liabilities have stopped. So yes, it's still being paid back, but now we're paying everybody back at the same time instead of 1, 2, 3 people a day. And
Exactly.
so much money. I don't think that everybody's like, well, where's all this money going to come from for buybacks? It's like, well, it's already Bertha's been doing that.
Yeah.
And I really hope the BT, instead of it being that 3% that's been going out already, cuts it down to like 2.5, or 2%, because 2% going straight to buy and burn is more than we've had going to it. So now Bertha's actually getting a discount. So that's less liabilities that are coming out. If he drops that, instead of it being the full 3% that it's been going to redemption queue, trunk buyback, and the peg support, and drops it to a 2.5, well, now just getting 0.5% discount on liabilities, and it's raising the price more.
So you want to go from 3% to 2%?
Well, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but my point is we've been paying 3% towards trying to get trunk back to peg, in 3 different avenues. So now on those 3 different avenues, instead of it being 1% on 3 avenues, if we do 2% on 1 avenue, that's better. That's better overall. We're streamlining that. And then Bertha is now getting a discount. So now she actually saving more money every single month.
One thing too, AG, I wanted to mention too. Remember how like a way I'll use this analogy with this cup, right? The trunk inflation, it was like a hole in the ecosystem, right? Trunk was inflating, so we're having kind of a spewage of the liquidity coming out, through the trunk token inflating faster than the treasury is growing. So now with these new updates, he's now, patched that hole, and he's made it similar to how NFTs work, right? Where 1% of the treasury goes to NFT stakers. So it's always dependent on the size of Bertha. Let's just say this is Bertha. So 1% of her goes to the NFTs. So now 2.53, whatever it gets decided for the buyback, right? It's always going to be scaled with the treasury. So it's no longer a liability that's flowing out that's rising faster than the actual.
All right.
The other thing is that we've gone from 2 liquidity pools to 1, and so all the economic energy is going towards 1. Yep. And so when you saw the steep rise and the just before the exploit, but the steep rise to the all-time highs, that was because it was only on a single LP.
Yes. That's huge. That is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And that's why I think it's going to be 2000.
Wouldn't that hurt us though in 2015 or not 15, but 25? Because don't you need the 2 pools to balance out the drop in BNB price once the bull runs over?
Good question.
I know it is. That's why I asked it.
Well, I think about it this is kind of what I think about. Yes, I believe that the price is will come down. However, that just means we're now again adding more BNB into the pool for the next bull run. Yep. So again, over that next,
that's not how that works, man.
It is how it works.
No,
it's 100% how it works. No. How come we hit all-time high with BNB half its price?
No. Listen, we hit all-time high at half its price, and a year into the bear market, when the shit hits the fan and it starts pricing, people aren't buying. That's why the price goes down.
I think what you have to look at is the size of Bertha at that point.
Yeah.
So in a year, I think in the next year we're gonna get to the 3rd flippening, right? And then the rise of elephant will be undeniable. There's just and you can already see the trillionaires are exiting. So all of a sudden, you don't have that sort of sell pressure that can be brought upon to bear. And then you have the biggest, smart contract in WBNB out there just buying.
Well, I get that. They're, the flippening and all that stuff. So if people start selling, that wouldn't drive the price down that much. But it's married to BNB. So if the price of BNB is $1,000, and then all of a sudden it drops down to, let's say, $300 in the bear market.
Well, it's not going to be all of a sudden.
No. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that.
The cheaper BNB gets, the more that Bertha buys, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more we steep up the supply shock. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine a world where there's 300 trillion BNB in Bertha.
Mm-hmm.
So what would 1 trillion sell be against a Bertha who has 300 trillion?
Yeah.
That's the equation. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter how low that. No, I mean it does.
Well, I'm not. But you got to think about not. Let's say no one sells at all, but the price of BNB drops $600 or $800. If no one sells, but the price of BNB goes down, it's still going to drive the price down.
In the face
the quantity of BNB does matter. So if we have more BNB, then it won't go as down as fast, even if BNB's price decreases, because the liquidity pool will be larger.
Exactly.
So the K value, X times Y equals K. So right now we have close to 100,000 BNB. Let's just say by the time next bear market rolls around, we have 500,000, a million BNB. I'm not sure, whatever it may be. Right. It's going to be just that much more. That the pool right now, let's just say it's a small pool. It's going to be Olympic sized pool. So all that economic energy to go down, even if it does crash by a large percentage, it just will still have all that liquidity. Liquidity is the key to all of this, right? And that we talk about this a lot. As long as you have the liquidity, then and the system is built in such a way that liquidity will always overcome the liabilities being built up, then you have a winning system. So
yeah. Hey guys, I need to exit because I'm on solar power. And it's 9 o'clock here, and I'm afraid I'm just going to lose energy, and that would suck. So, but anytime you want me on, let me know. I'd be happy to come on again.
All right, Patrick. It's
appreciate you.
been it's 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's call it a night, guys.
Sounds good.
Patrick, thank you again. One more cheers to you.
Thank you, Patrick. This was very awesome. Great talk tonight, guys. This was so cool.
I agree.
Listen,
It was a lot of fun too.
I will have to admit, when we added you to our podcast group,
Yeah.
I literally am like, man, I am the dumbest person in this room, 100%. I'm like, they always say you want to be the dumbest person in a room. I'm like, wow, I've never felt that in my entire life.
Stop giving AG Stop giving AG so much credit now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's all I do is think about this thing 24/7. So yeah.
Nice. Patrick, all right, man. Have a good night.
All right, man.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on.
See you
All
guys.
right, peace out. Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.